What's up, everybody? This episode of the podcast is brought to you by We Print Wraps. We Print Wraps is the wrap industry's #1 source for wholesale printed wraps. They offer free nationwide shipping all across the U.S. and Canada. Go to WePrintWraps.com today. Okay, folks, welcome to the All Wrapped Up podcast. If you're new to the show, I've been a weekly listener. Thank you for tuning in and supporting the show. As you know, I don't ask for much, but I appreciate it if you left your feedback and a 5-star rating on any platform that you're listening to. It really helps us out in getting the word out about the industry. And don't forget, if you find value in the content, subscribe and tell a friend. And now here's a brand new episode of All Wrapped Up with Kinsey Sharp from Sharp Wraps. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to All Wrapped Up podcast. We'll be interviewing industry-leading wrap companies to share tips, tricks, stories, and more. All right, so we'll go live. We've got Kinsey Sharp from Sharp Wraps on the show today. How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. Thanks for so much for coming on the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny. Every month I try to at least get one woman influencer that's in the industry to come on the show, and it's been so hard to go through the list, and timing's been so tough. And after I saw you at the Avery Dennison booth at SEMA, and I'm like, oh, never even heard of Kinsey before. And I'm like, I reached out, and you gave me a DM back, which was great. Thank you so much. And now we're here.
Of course. I really enjoyed the Avery booth as well. So I met so many awesome people, awesome women in the industry. It was really good experience to be able to work with all of them all at once.
Yeah, and that was the first of its kind, correct?
Correct. That is the first time a manufacturer has had an all-women's demonstration of our skills, whether it be window tint, paint protection film, or even wrapping. That was the first time I've ever seen anything like it. And it just completely blew my mind whenever Jennifer asked me, hey, can you do this? Are you going to SEMA? Let's get this together. And I was just blown out of the water. I was so excited. And to be a part of something like that with all of those women, it really humbled me to know that there's so many of us out there, and we all have the same mindset in the industry. It's just so awesome.
Right. I know I'd mentioned this a while back that, I think it might have been just after RapsCon. I briefly spoke to Jim Miller's wife, Starla, about this, and I asked, do you think in the future we'll have an all women's kind of wrap off for the industry? And it was just amazing. Just a few months later at SEMA, his Avery, putting the feather in the cap and having an all women install demo for the industry.
It was great. And it wasn't just women installers either. It was Cindy Richards, who works with Avery also. Mm-hmm. And she's worked for Avery for 5 years now. And she got to be a part of it with us. She's been an installer in the past. And her working with the film, people think, oh, you don't know how to install. And it was awesome to see her out there with us also.
Yeah, that's always a plus. A lot of these representatives of the businesses, whether they sell the merchandise or whatnot, a lot of them don't get into it and take a course and figure it out. They're just more interested in selling the material. They're more knowledgeable as far as like the specs, but when it comes to kind of how the stuff lays, I think you kind of have like a better background, a better feel. And it's just another kind of, feather in your cap, so to say, to know that, hey, the person I'm talking to actually installs the stuff too, which is great.
Absolutely. My representative personally here in Oklahoma and in Dallas is Molly Waters, and she has been in the industry for several years also. She used to be an installer. So whenever I found out that she was my representative and she was an installer previously and she's a woman, I was so happy because I feel like I can go to her with anything. She's so approachable and knowledgeable about everything, not just vinyl either, about cars, about paints, and it's just everything that goes into wrapping a car. So she also knows a lot about it.
That's awesome. Now, do you remember everyone that you had done the demo with at the Avery Dentistry
Oh my
booth?
goodness. Yes, I remember most of them. Let's see here. So Jen Carney, she's out of Orlando. Kathy Alexander is from actually Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had Paige, I believe her last name is Walton, from England.
Wow.
She got to join in. Brittany got to join in also. She's from California. And Tasha, she's a newer installer. I think she's in Minnesota or Indiana. I don't know which one she's actually from. Crystal, she is from, I can never pronounce her last name ever. She's also from Orlando area, but she's the commercial side, so she complements Jen well.
Mm-hmm.
And Cindy Richards, of course. I'm trying to think.
Put you on the
Don't put her on
spot.
the spot like this. Yeah. Of course, there was Starla. She was awesome. She was kind of our MC, but of course, she's so heavily involved in the industry. She's not just someone's wife.
Right.
She is someone's supporter, and she will go the extra mile for her husband and us ladies as well. She's just an amazing person. I think that's it. I think.
You think? All right. If we missed anybody, we apologize.
Yes. There were so
advance.
many of us. I think that we started with the three of us and Starla, and then I think we ended with 12. So
Wow.
It was, yeah. I was super happy whenever Abby decided to let other women in because I saw them in the crowd and I was like, I want to share this with them. It's not for me. It's for all of the women. It's to open more people up to doing it because I do know some people, they're like, oh, I would love to do this, but I mean, it's not really a woman's place. Everywhere is a woman's place, especially in our industry.
Oh, 100%. I totally agree with you on that because a lot of the best work comes out of, women. Women think of things differently than men. I can honestly say that. And
Mm-hmm.
They definitely a lot smarter. 100%.
Thank you.
I'm not going to lie. I'm dumb as a brick and women are definitely a lot more intelligent than us guys, and to see more women in the industry breaking through and shaking things up, I think that's such a great thing, and I think there's no stigma, you know what I mean, as far as like everyone in the industry having women in. I think the stigma is the clientele that you get, you know what I mean, like
absolutely
when you walk up to a job. They've been talking to you, and then you show up, and then it's a male-dominated area. Whether you're walking into a body shop or a big, big corporation, and you're walking in with your roll of film, your bag full of tools, and you're ready to go to work, and they're like, "Who's your installer?" And you have to look at them in the eyes and say, "I'm here." Like,
yes.
What the fuck? Like, don't give me this, don't give me this weird furry eyeball. Like, I'm here to work. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
sometimes it gets weird, but you know what? Fuck them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I've definitely done some contract work for brand new buildings where I am their point of contact. They're talking to me on the phone. They're sending me messages. They're sending me emails. I send them insurance and everything else needed for the job. And then I walk on the site and they're like, who are you?
Yeah.
Where's your installer? It's like, oh, you're the installer? Well, I'm actually going to have to call my boss. And I was just that one time whenever he said that he needed to call his boss, I wanted to walk on the job. I really did. But at that point, I felt challenged. Yeah. I felt like, hey, not only am I a woman, but I am going to prove you wrong. That, yes, this is my place, and you are just the small-minded man, and I wonder what else is small because of that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. It's the nature of the beast, and I'm sure a lot of the men in the industry get it too, some way, somehow. Flipped,
absolutely.
Roles change a little bit, and you know, it sucks. It's the times that we live in, but you know, you got to break that mold. And I appreciate all the women in the industry breaking that mold and standing up.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. So also while I was at SEMA, I met a woman who is a part owner of Fusion Tools. Not only does she know how to use the tools, she makes tools for our industry. And I just love her so much. She is so knowledgeable. She's so innovative. Her and her husband do it together. And just talking to her about, oh, I have this kind of application, or, hey, I've switched to using this kind of buffer. And she listens and she bounces ideas back and forth with me. It was just incredible to meet her as well. I really wish that she could have seen the demo to see all of us, and using tools that she has created and that she has put out there. It's just an awesome time to see another woman. Hey, I'm going to not only be an installer, I'm going to create something to make this easier for all of us.
Right. I think that's even just being a business owner, I think that's the hardest part. It's not only you getting into a male dominated industry and you're an installer or whatever, but now you're creating a business. Like, it's yours. I think that's got to be super hard. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And what's funny about that is all of the women who did installs in the Avery booth, we all own companies. We don't just work for a company. Either we own them or we're part owners or something along those lines. But there were none of us who just worked for a company. We all do our own things. We've all created our names ourselves.
Right.
We didn't have to have the support of a man.
Right. Which is awesome. Was that the first time you ever did like a wrap demonstration?
It was actually. I was so nervous. I was hot and sweaty, and I was talking to Jen. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so sweaty. And she's like, I am too. And then about 15 to 20 minutes into it, we just relaxed, and it was just another install for us, which was fantastic, because if I looked at this as like, oh my goodness, I'm in the Avery booth, and then all of a sudden it changed. I'm just doing an install. This is something I do every day. Quit freaking out. I finally got my bearings, and everything was so smooth after that.
That's awesome. Yeah, to have that many eyeballs watching you install, it must have been a little bit stressful.
Just a little bit. And there were so many people. Yeah. I had taken my glasses off so that the crowd wouldn't like intimidate me and I wouldn't get distracted, because I am totally 100% ADHD, just like, oh, hey, squirrel, shiny thing. So I took my glasses off, but every time I looked up, there were so many people there. They were so intently watching us as if they had never seen us do anything like this. I mean, they hadn't. But it was just so awesome to see all of these people here to watch us do this.
For sure.
It was great.
Did you get to interact with the crowd at all? Answer questions and stuff like that?
I interacted with the crowd a bit, actually. I'm not afraid to talk to people. So I made sure it was okay with Avery beforehand. Hey, can I talk to these people? And they said, absolutely. I actually had to borrow someone's squeegee, because if I didn't have a hard squeegee on me, I only had my medium and my soft, because we were doing a Camaro. And one of the Geek Wraps guys, he handed me his squeegee, and I love his squeegee, by the way. Shout out to you guys. Love it.
I was going to say, what type of squeegees were you using before?
Yeah, the soft and the medium squeegees that I use are made by Pro Tools now. You can get them from Fellers or Metro Restyling, Vinyl Spec, anything like that. They're 4.3 inches, so they're just a little longer than the normal ones. They're called Speed Wings. And they have little bitty wings on them, and they fit on my armband perfect. The medium ones last forever. The soft ones even last forever. And for the longest time, I was having problems finding medium and soft squeegees that weren't going out on me or like getting worn down after one or two cars. And doing one or two cars and you need a new squeegee, it's just kind of like, man, I was really attached to that one. But these, yeah, it's one thing to have to replace your buffer. That's no big deal.
Right?
But having to replace an entire squeegee,
starting
for
from
me,
fresh.
Yeah, I have to put Velcro on all of my stuff because I wear an armband from Yellow Tools.
Yep.
And instead of strapping over it, I put my tools on it.
Right.
And I had to modify it just a little bit. But having to like move the Velcro over and this and that. So whenever I found the speed wings, I just fell in love with them. I guess it was about 3 years ago whenever I started using them. They're super affordable. They last forever. I probably replace mine every 6 months or so, or whenever I lose one, like at SEMA.
That's funny. I think I know exactly which one you're talking about. I have a yellow one that I got.
Yeah, that's the medium one.
Yeah, I got, and you know who turned me on to that? Justin Pate.
Yes, absolutely. Justin Pate's a really big influencer in the tools and the vinyl and especially the skills too.
Oh, for sure. He was giving out squeegees and blades and stuff like that at RapsCon, and he gave me that yellow one. He's like, "Hey, try this out. You know, it's a little bit bigger. You can get around the corner. It's got like the rounded edges and it's a little bit wider." And I'm like, "Oh, maybe you can get a little bit more surface space with it than a regular standard squeegee." So I have literally had that in my arsenal of tools since August, and I can't stop using it now. I won't pick up a regular squeegee because of it.
Absolutely. So it's called the lemon speed wings whenever it's yellow, and then the red ones are cherry, the green ones are lime, and then they also have a peach one now, which I have not had the pleasure of using, but they also make a bunch of tint tools that I use also. But you can use tools from vinyl to tint to paint protection film. It's all about what you're comfortable with. Right. And once you get a hold of a good squeegee like that, I just can't put it down.
That's awesome. So now you turn it on to the Geek Wrap squeegees, which are great.
For the hard one, yes. It was double felted. So it was felted on one side and on the other side. It was great. And I didn't have Velcro on it, but I did love it. And I think Jessica actually gave me one a while back whenever I was in Arizona with Wrap Sesh, the Vinyl Vixen.
Yes.
Yes, she gave me one, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll try this. And it went in my tool bag, and I didn't try it. So now I have two, and I'm super excited to actually use those a little more frequently.
That's awesome. So was that your first time going to SEMA as well?
No, that is actually my fourth time going to SEMA.
Fourth time. So you're a little bit of a veteran.
A little bit, yes. I've been sending cars to SEMA for 6 years now, which is super exciting. And then I finally started going to SEMA. I didn't get to go last year because I was moving home, but in that process, I got to see everyone's work and was just super pumped up for this year. And then whenever I got there this year, I was nervous. I was excited. I was scared. I was every emotion that you could imagine. And then the demonstration happened and everything was right in the world. It was so perfect.
So did you do the demos all throughout the week, or was it like a couple days?
Our demo was on Thursday. It started at 1 or 1:30. It's kind of hard to remember now. There was a lot that happened in Vegas, but it's going to stay there. But yeah, and we wrapped until like 4 or 5 o'clock that afternoon. It was great. We wrapped the newer Camaro. It was a ZL1. And it had the really hard hood to do, and to wrap something like that in front of people that you're not 100% confident wrapping. It was thrilling. Absolutely thrilling.
Well, when you have other people by your side and you guys can talk it over, you're not the only one doing it. You know what I mean? I'm sure you can overcome anything at that point.
Absolutely. And now that I know all of these women and I've met them, I will never hesitate to call, hey, I'm about to approach this. How would you do it? Right. Days of two heads are always better than one. And especially whenever there's 12 of us, 12 are always going to be better than one.
Now tell me too, like I just noticed, I think it might've been like a week ago. I don't know who's doing it. I can only assume who's doing it, but I'm sure you'll know is, creating the social media account, Women of Wraps.
Yes.
Wow. I thought that was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Jen Carney started that a couple of years ago. I tried. I'm terrible at social media. I did Women Who Wrap, but whenever she came up with Women of Wraps, I was like, yes, absolutely. You've got to push this. Let's make this a thing. I just love the idea of it, especially a huge network of us, not just 12 of us.
Right.
Whenever she launched it, I was like, yes, this is 100% something I can get behind because I mean, we have the Wrap Society, we have Tent Mob, we have paint protection film groups, we have Women in the Window film group also. But to have a wrap specific group is just, I love it because of now we're all in one place.
Right, right. So if anybody's looking for, inspirations or just to be part of it, go to Women of Wraps on Instagram, even Facebook. I think this week I'm going to post up, repost one of the Instagram posts on there just to kind of create more awareness of it, because I think it's such a great group, because like you said, we have all these little individual groups, Pain is Dead, the Mob, and stuff like that for the vinyl world. I think it's time that we had an all woman type of brand or group in the industry. I think it's great.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sure. I want to dive deep into kind of like what you have going on this week at your shop in Oklahoma. So
this week I am actually taking off. Last week I started speaking to a previous client of mine with his C63 AMG. He took it to the dealership to get serviced, and they washed the car, even though he has told them over and over and over again, don't wash my car. And it's been over a year since he's had his car wrapped, and he's been to the dealership multiple times since then for oil changes, this and that. And they scratched and damaged his vinyl. Jeez. So next week I will be addressing that issue. I really love the customer. He's a great guy. He had a 3M satin gray on his car before. And now that he has seen my wraps grow and the wrap industry itself, now that he has his own wrap, he wants to do something super crazy. So I'm looking forward to doing that next week with them.
Ooh, is something maybe printed, custom designed, or?
I think that he wants to go with a custom color that I'm going to have to create.
Nice.
So that will be very interesting. A couple of years ago, I got to create a rose gold chrome because no one really made it at the time except for Vivid. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't super comfortable with using it. So I made my own version of the rose gold chrome, and he really liked the idea of having a custom one-off. No one else has this color kind of color. So we're going to have to sit down with the good old sketch pad and see what we can make.
That's awesome. I love that. Now we can kind of bring in different laminates with different medias and create just this concoction of colors now. It's not just the colors that Avery creates, not just the colors that 3M creates. It's, all these different types of brands that we can kind of put together to create one different custom color at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
It's kind of endless, which is awesome.
Yeah. Whenever I first started messing with over laminates, other than print media, of course, was the KPMF, the sparkle laminates that they make. And whenever I got into that, I was like, wow, the opportunities and options are just endless at this point. You can do literally anything for any car. So you want to custom make a blue, but you want it to look gray. I really like those options.
Oh, for sure. And you have to keep your mind open on all new products coming out and new technology, because it's continuously changing. Like every few months, something new. And it's always nice to kind of be on top of it and be the first one to use it and get feedback.
Absolutely.
Change things up a little bit.
Yeah. And I always tell people, like, yeah, this brand may not have a good name for this, but try everything once and try it for yourself once. Don't just listen to the reviews. Like, this is your livelihood that you're messing with. You're not going to ask someone for bank advice. You're going to go out and find out yourself. Right. So try every material for yourself at least once.
Oh, for sure. So considering that you're taking this week off, it's a short week anyways, because we have Thanksgiving coming up here in a few days. How did you end last week?
Last week was crazy. I did a bunch of decorative film, actually. And of course, I found out that my client's vehicle was damaged at a dealership. So, of course, that's upsetting. But I did a bunch of decorative window film for it's a bank building, but they have office buildings above it. Mm-hmm. So that was a lot of fun to do. We got snow here last Monday, so that was interesting to work around. The building was empty. No one had gone to work, so that was quite interesting to handle.
A whole building to yourself, huh?
Yep, I just went in there and was like, okay, I'm glad that I did the site survey myself, and I'm just going to put this here now, and if you don't like it, you can take it down later.
That's so funny. What did you use for decorative film? Just like frosted glass or anything?
I did a bunch of window perf, and then I did some frosted glass in like meeting rooms. I did some glass white just for like doorways and stuff so that they can magnetize them. All of their doors are metal. I live in Oklahoma, so we have some tornado-proof-ish areas.
Okay.
So they just wanted some glass white on some doors, and then I also did some dry erase boards also, which is going to be really cool because they're going to frame them. They're going to frame the vinyl that I put up, which is super awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you just stuck it to the wall and just whatever, they'll have a carpenter come in and just frame it out?
Yep, but they want me to come back whenever they do it so that I guess I make sure that they don't damage it. But I mean, it's going to be men doing it, so I should probably be there.
Well, yeah. Well, there's the wrong right there. Guys are just going to go up there sticking nails and everything. Yeah, this is fine. No problem.
It looks good for my house. Yep, nope.
Now, like as far as like your clientele, are you a little bit commercial and a lot of customization, or just a lot of just restyling?
I do restyling. Okay. Yes. So some days, well, actually the way this building heard about me is one of their employees used to be a client of mine. And I only did his roof, and I did a windshield banner for him for his car club. And since then, I mean, this was 5 or 6 years ago, he found out that I was back in Oklahoma and his office building needed some decoration. So he gave me the recommendation, and I was like, yes, absolutely. So I went and met, and they were like, we want something completely different. We don't want to look like every other office building. They don't have necessarily an open floor plan or an open office plan, but they're very walk in, walk out. They have a bunch of standing desks. They have like a TV media room. Their meeting rooms have coloring books in them. It's just all sorts of awesome.
That's awesome. What coloring books?
They have coloring books.
All right. So what type of place is this? Is it like a daycare? Is it like are there adults working at this place?
They are a digital marketing media company. So they only do digital marketing.
Okay. I see that a lot, believe it or not. I know we're laughing about it, and it is funny to us because a lot of us have worked in like normal jobs where we don't have that shit. Like it's like
absolutely
you go to work, you work, and you go home. You don't sit there and your 15-minute break, you fucking color in a book, like, because that's supposed to be like creative or whatnot. But I see the point of it because I do watch a lot of videos online, and I see how like Zuckerberg does things, and like a lot of like these media groups will have like game rooms where you can step out and kind of recharge or kind of reprogram your mind instead of being behind a desk or a computer all day. You know what I mean? So I kind of see the benefits, but I've never been in anything like that where it's like, oh, maybe I'll try it, but I don't know.
It's really funny. From an outsider looking in, so someone say that they work at Devon Tower, which is super uppity. They're an oil and gas company here in Oklahoma City, which is the biggest building in downtown Oklahoma City. And then you look at this company and it's just like, wow, that's night and day difference. But if I had the opportunity to make, let's say, $25 at the fun company and $30 at the not so fun company, I would honestly probably take the fun company.
Yeah, agreed. I definitely
especially
agree.
Especially at the rate that Devin does layoffs sometimes.
Yeah, you're probably a little bit more secure at the $25 job.
Yes, absolutely.
If they allow you to color during work hours, I think your job might be a little secure. You know?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, let's talk about your background a little bit. Let's kind of dive deep into your backstory on kind of how you got into this crazy industry.
Okay, so it all kind of started whenever I wanted to customize my own vehicle. I am not necessarily a very outgoing person, but I am a car enthusiast. I am big into cars, all sorts of cars, domestics, imports, old cars, new cars, and I just wanted to change mine. I wanted it to be different. I didn't want to do the plastic shit job that everyone else was doing. So I ordered some vinyl and I played around with it and played around with it. I wrapped little stuff in my house even. I wrapped light switch plates and just little things going back and forth between my car and my house. And, I want to wrap this, but I don't really know how to take it off my car. Mm-hmm. So I started learning how to disassemble my car, and I took my front bumper off. I started wrapping some chrome on that. I wrapped some stuff on my fog light trim. And from there, it just went from, hey, Kinsey did this. Maybe she can do my roof, my hood, my interior, my mirrors, my whole car. Let's do this. Let's do that. And it grew rather quickly for me. And then once I decided to move from Oklahoma City, I moved to San Antonio. Mm-hmm. And I met Adam Ship with Icon Wraps, or I guess at the time it was Auto Vinyl Solutions. Mm-hmm. And I went in there and he taught me a few things here and there. Unfortunately, I broke my ankle severely, so I didn't get to wrap with him a whole lot. But to this day, he still taught me almost everything I know in just a very little bit of time. Wow. Then I moved to Dallas and I learned about training classes and how to work with different materials. And by this point, I was wrapping full cars on my own, and a friend of mine would help me take them apart or help me hold something here and there and clean it. I probably wouldn't be where I am today without him. He definitely pushed me to be better every single time. And he got so involved with it that he pushed me and pushed me and pushed me, like, don't stop here, because I really just wanted to do the hoods and roofs and the mirrors and interiors. He really got me into doing the full cars and full customization. And don't be afraid to take apart that Ferrari. Just take it apart.
That's ballsy to take apart a Ferrari. My God.
Oh, I have some bad stories about Ferraris. I feel like it's always the Ferraris that have it's been ran through a fence. It's put back together poorly.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, what type of car were you driving back then that you were tinkering with?
2013 Honda Accord Coupe.
Nice.
That's the one that I got into tinkering with most. Whenever I started, it was a 2008 Honda Accord Coupe. It was just a little bit older, and it just had so much damn chrome on it. And a chrome wrap is cool and all, but chrome on my car was just not okay.
Yeah, starting those chrome deletes early.
Yes, I was. And it was one of those, okay, do I take off the trim? How do I take off my door handle? I mean, I can drop my transmission, but I don't know how to take off my door handle.
I was going to say, so you're mechanically inclined as well.
I am. I actually grew up around cars. My dad never let me miss a beat whenever it came to, hey, you need an oil change. Hey, this is how you know that you need tires. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. He actually worked with a different kind of vinyl. He did vinyl tops and interiors on cars whenever I was younger. Mm-hmm. So to see what he did whenever I was so young, I've always looked up to him to say, I want to be like my dad. I want to be successful like that. I want to be able to customize something, because he never just did an OEM job. Mm-hmm. He always did something different. I actually met a guy who was in my shop meeting me, and he said, oh, that's funny. I know a man with the last name of Sharp who did vinyl tops, and he always put a certain stitch in his work to know that it was his. And I was like, is his name Dave Sharp? And it was my father, and he knew my father, and he was now using me for his vinyl wraps. It was very inspirational to see that my dad's success and now my success. It's just, I feel like I can actually compare myself to my father. and it feels good.
Yeah, it's nice when you can cross paths like in different years. You know what I mean? Is your dad still with us?
Yes, he is. He actually lives in Northeast Oklahoma on Fort Gibson Lake. He is retired now, so he doesn't do a whole lot, but he's still really good with a sewing machine.
That's awesome. That takes a whole nother type of person to figure out how to sew stuff. I worked with I rented space from a awning company, and I watched the person who sewed all the awnings, and it was just mind blowing seeing all these patterns just laid out, and then at the end of the day, these people are stretching it over the frames, and it's just like her stitches have to be perfect in order to be stretched in those types of ways, and she knew where everything went and how many stitches it needed and how many stitches she did for that particular job. It was just amazing. That takes a whole nother person to do that type of stuff, and I can imagine trying to figure out how to lay a tarp, like the headliners in and the roofs and the convertibles. That's a real craft right there.
Yeah, it is. Especially watching someone take one idea from plain nothingness to adding diamond stitch and different kinds of materials, kind of like what we do with vinyl. We're going to add some satin and some matte, have a little chrome here. It's great to see it transform from one industry to the other. Oh,
for sure. Yeah. With stuff underneath the vinyl, doing embossing and things like that. And it's kind of endless. It's incredible what I've seen created out there with different medias, and it's just mind boggling. I would never have thought to put certain things together to create one thing, and it's crazy.
Definitely. I love the customization and the options to customize, and that's the whole reason I got into the industry. Is just make it custom, make it your own.
For sure. Now you were saying you were in San Antonio or Dallas at the time?
I started out, or whenever I started tinkering with it, I was in Oklahoma City. I moved to San Antonio, and then I decided to move to Dallas. I absolutely hated living in San Antonio. It wasn't for me. I didn't like the people. I didn't really like the city. One of the major reasons I went to San Antonio was for my best friend, and I love her to pieces, but I needed something more for my life than San Antonio. So I woke up and I decided to move to Dallas, and I moved to Dallas, and it was life changing. I opened my own company. I was wrapping cars within 2 or 3 weeks of being there. But at the time I was traveling to people's garages, traveling to their work and doing it in a parking garage. And I would work wherever I could, whenever I could. I remember doing a roof wrap at 11 p.m. in the parking garage of, University of Texas at Arlington. And the customer loved it. He was like, you always have to start somewhere. And you really do. You always have to start somewhere. And you start from the bottom and you look around, now we're here. It's amazing how quickly things can move also.
Oh, for sure. Where was the, your most sketch area to install?
Oh, goodness. It wasn't necessarily sketchy during the day, but at night, whenever we were leaving, it was definitely sketchy. It was in downtown Fort Worth. It was a Sonata customer of mine, which, I mean, he's a very good customer of mine, but whenever I was wrapping at his shop, it was just leaving at night was very interesting in downtown Fort Worth.
That's so funny. I mean, it's very true. You know, the words you just spoke is that you do have to start somewhere. And a lot of us start either in our garages or mobile. And we kind of have to go to the client to kind of build that clientele. And, you know, sometimes we tend to forget like those little small details of stories or back things that had happened that, you know, kind of put you in the spot that you're in now, you know, that you kind of, you know, you could be humbled now that you can actually have people come to you in a location.
Absolutely. And even with Frank Fellers, he started out of his garage in his backyard.
Right.
out of his own house.
Right.
So to see that you're not alone in that. So never be afraid to start from nothing and build your empire. If you do good work, you will get there, and you will get there quickly, and you will stay on top. But if you just kind of give it an okay job or an okay effort, you're not ever going to make it anywhere. And whenever I got into this, I poured my heart and soul into it. I had nothing to lose, but everything to gain. And I think that's really what made me push for success so hard.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. You know, when you have that kind of that mindset that, you know, it can be fun, you know, and at the end of the day, I think when you're having fun at something that you can make money with, it's worth it. You know, you don't work a day in your life, they say, if you're having fun.
Yeah. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Right, right. And I think this is such a great trade to learn, to have underneath your belt, where, you know, I've had guests on that have traveled the world for putting wraps on, and I have guests that are perfectly fine with, you know, doing wraps in their local area and are completely humbled by it. And, you know, everyone has a story. Everyone has their own kind of backstory as far as how they got started and where they want to be and goals in life or what they want to do. And, you know, it's all good. You know what I mean? And I feel like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes, like, a lot of us will talk about, like, the other person, like, well, like a big topic is always like, oh, the price gouges down the street, you know, working out of their garage. And we tend to forget, you know, that, you know, at one point, like, we were there, like, we were those people at one time.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Just trying to make $1 to keep the lights on, to put food on the table, to do this, to do that. And I feel like, you know, we have to give them time to get up to where they need to be, because you're not going to get there overnight.
Of course. And it really is, you start from the bottom, you work your way up, you serve your time here and there. I definitely sublet a bunch of shops, and without subletting those shops, I never would have made it to where I am now.
What was the hardest part about opening up your own business?
Oh, I had absolutely no clue what I was doing.
They don't teach you that shit in high school nor in college, huh?
They don't teach you any of that. And I went to college.
I hate it.
It was just, I had no idea what taxes. I mean, I knew what taxes were. I didn't know how to file them. I didn't know how to spend money to make money, and the cost of the job and this and that. And I was just so lost for the first probably 2 years of owning a business. I was so confused, and I was just like, oh, okay, well, this works, so we're going to do it this way. Oh, by the way, you did that wrong, so here's $800 in fines. And you're like, fuck, where did this come from?
You kind of you learn by fire, unfortunately. And I hate that they don't teach you that. I mean, you take accounting class in college, you do this, you do that business, and they never tell you how to fucking file for a business. Like,
no, I don't know what accounting class you took, but it definitely didn't teach me anything about owning my business.
No shit. What the fuck? Like, I don't get it. Like, why do they do that to us? It's like they set us up for failure.
Absolutely. And then you wonder, like, oh, our country's in debt because you never taught us how to run a country or
That's
a business
awesome.
or anything like that.
Yeah, how to fucking fill out an incorporation form or anything like that. It's, yeah, now I owe the IRS 10 grand. Thanks a lot. What the fuck?
I will say, for anyone listening that doesn't know what they're doing, just go to Legalzoom.com. Just do it. Spend the money there, and they will help you with anything and everything.
This is a shameless plug.
It is. It's shameless. They bailed my ass out.
Really?
Yeah, they really did. So you get like this 6 months of like, try this attorney thing. And I was like, oh, okay, no big deal. I'm never going to use that. Tax time. Hey, where was that attorney at?
Really?
Yeah, it was great. I struggled hardcore whenever I started. I ate so much ramen. I ate so much junk, just like McDonald's here and there whenever I could. But man, whenever it came to filing taxes, that kicked my ass harder than anything. I can handle the ramen. I can handle the sleepless nights. But taxes? No one prepared me for this. And I was lost and I cried and cried and cried. I was like, I owe all this money. How am I going to make this happen? Oh, by the way, you just claim everything that, you sold. So.
Yeah. All your mileage, your own personal vehicle wrap,
Absolutely.
That's all the pencils you bought, all the tools you bought, everything's got to have its place to deduct off that top of the list. You know what I mean? Of
yeah,
what you
for
owe.
sure.
I mean, I went through a similar thing and I got, I had a tax guy and needless to say, he wasn't very good, but I had one and thought he would steer me in the right direction. And, I was never told after you kind of make $25,000 that you should incorporate, that your brackets of incorporation that you're in when you're incorporated are better than being a self-proprietor or DBA and whatnot when you file your taxes at the end of the year. And, I made, needless to say, that year was a really good year. And I got hit with a self-employment tax because I never incorporated.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I couldn't even tell you what the self-employment tax bracket was. It was like 12% or some shit. And they're like, oh yeah, you owe us like 15 grand. I'm like, what? What do you mean? I made so much money and I paid every quarter little. I gave you guys like 3-4 grand every quarter. I still owe you 50. Yep. Because you never incorporated, and self-employment tax is a lot higher than your incorporation tax when you incorporate.
Absolutely.
And Tom, I spent $500. I got myself an escort, and never made that mistake ever again.
I definitely thought that you just said you got yourself an escort, not an S-corp.
yeah, I couldn't write that.
Yeah.
I couldn't write that off. At the end of the year.
Dang it. I'll have to pass that on to anyone starting their own business.
All those partying and going out. Damn Vegas. Fuck.
Damn Vegas every year.
They get you. And that's a write-off. That trip for you is a write-off. That airplane fee, everything.
Oh, you fly, don't you? I drove this year.
Why, you don't fly?
I usually fly, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I have a hybrid, so I decided to drive this year.
There you go.
It's only 14 hours to Phoenix, Arizona from where I am. And it's only, I think it was 17 hours to Vegas.
Jeez.
So yeah, it wasn't that bad. It was great. Like to see everything between point A and point B was super awesome. But the drive back was even better because you're like, oh, I just had this great time in Vegas. I'm going to dread the drive back. No, it was beautiful. I mean, we went the same way as which we drove out there, but seeing the Hoover Dam and seeing part of Arizona at sunset and Flagstaff at sunset is gorgeous. I suggest it to everyone. But driving to SEMA was phenomenal. It really gave me time to clear my head between point A and point B. It was just phenomenal.
That's cool. Yeah, to be on a road trip for 17 hours, I couldn't tell you what my longest road trip was. Maybe like 8, if that.
That's it?
That's it. Maybe even, I think that's maybe exaggerated. It might be 6. I went to New Jersey a few times. They used to, from Boston to New Jersey, it's about 6 hours. I mean, that's a hella ride for me. I'm good with that. Sitting in a car for that long, it sucks. I used to go to, I think it was either SGIA show they used to have in New Jersey at the convention center. I went there many, many years for God knows how long. I think I went there 4 or 5 times, to check out new stuff. It's kind of how I got turned on to the vehicle wrap industry. There was a husband and wife kind of duo, and they would do wrap demonstrations. They were kind of the only ones doing it at the show. And, I got to pick their brain, talk about the material, talk about new printers coming out. And that's kind of how I got, my in for the industry. back then. And yeah, I can't sit. I get car sick. If I'm not the one driving, I get super car sick.
Oh no, that's so sad.
Yeah, I hate it. I don't do well on boats either. I gotta take Dramamine half an hour before. I'm like a little kid, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So just so you know, it's 8 hours from Oklahoma City to San Antonio.
Jeez.
So,
and you do that up pretty often, right?
Probably 3 or 4 times a year. Yeah.
Wow.
Last year I drove from Dallas to South Padre Island. That wasn't a bad drive. It was like 9 hours. But my longest road trip has actually been 28 hours.
Where did you go?
It was from Dallas to Fort Lauderdale, but we were in a moving truck hauling a friend of mine's car.
Jeez.
So we didn't stop to sleep for more than an hour. I napped and he drove, and I drove and he napped. But it was 28 hours in a single moving truck, just the two of us, and we both survived.
Wow. That's to and from. Or did you fly back from?
I flew back.
Oh, okay.
He stayed there. I helped him move there. But it was just really impromptu. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll drive. No big deal. And it was a lot of fun. It really was. We got to see so much. We stopped in New Orleans. We stopped in Alabama somewhere because he had never been to a few of these places. But it was a lot of fun driving, especially whenever you get along with someone. The drive is so worth it. So take a few more road trips.
Yeah. When I can get out, I definitely want to see a lot more of the world. More or less. I've been to Europe a few times. I've been, on cruises, unfortunately. I've seen some stuff, and I just want to see more of the United States, like New Orleans. I've been to Florida numerous times. I've been to California. I've been to Vegas. It's all the other states that are just as good. Like, I've never been to Texas. My friend Sean Martinez, he lives in San Antonio. So he's been hounding me to come out and visit him and check things out. And I would love to get down there. I just don't know how I would do with the crazy heat, but,
it's not that hot.
Well, I'm from Boston. I get all 4 seasons, and when it gets hot here, it sucks. But also when it gets cold, it sucks even more. Like right now, I mean, it's just fucking miserable. It's 35 degrees outside, and you're kind of stuck inside the house a little bit. Thank God I got the podcast to rely on to keep me company throughout the week.
And you guys measure your snow in feet. We measure hours and how long it snowed.
And yeah. Well, it snowed for 1 hour today, so we're good.
So we've got like a quarter of an inch.
Yeah. And it's gone in an hour. I mean,
almost. Yeah. So it snowed Monday. There was definitely still snow on the ground Tuesday, but it wasn't on the roads or anything. It was strictly on the grass.
Yeah, and you guys shut things down when it snows. It's like panic room there. It's like nobody's out. Everyone's wondering what the fuck is this white shit out here? Like nobody goes anywhere when it snows there, huh?
Nope, not really. We shut down work. We shut down schools. We shut down everything. So one time I was actually in Virginia, and that's where my brother lives, and it snowed and it snowed and it snowed all day one day. We went to sleep that night, woke up the next morning, and all of the snow was gone.
Really?
It wasn't gone. It was gone off the roads. Just the magical snowplow fairies just came and swept it away. And we don't have that here. We don't have that in Dallas at all, for sure. And to see that all the snow was just magically off the road, I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, the fairies came and took it all away.
I've definitely spent some summertime with Rapper's Delight up in Brockton, actually. So I've seen your summer, quote unquote, summers of humidity and like 75, 80 degree weather. But I've also,
you've been to Brockton, Massachusetts.
Yes, I have. That's where Rapper's Delight is.
Okay. So tell me, like, what was your kind of take on Brockton? 'Cause Brockton ain't the most safest place to be at.
Oh no, I thought it was a great city.
Yeah.
I mean,
Whoa.
obviously.
Whoa. Let me pick your brain for a second. Are we talking about the same Brockton? Because
I believe so.
I could tell you some stories about Brockton.
Oh no.
Oh my God. Like, really? Like, what part of Brockton were you in? I gotta find out what Rapper's Delight is. Damn, because I've been to Brockton numerous times, and there ain't nothing good there. I'll tell you, especially late at night. That's a lot. Brockton is, okay, so I'm a little exaggerating, but Brockton probably is like, a couple minutes from Boston, like maybe, 10, 15, if that. And, Brockton's more of
So it's actually in Southeastern.
Okay. All right. So maybe you're in the higher end, the nicer part, Southeastern. Yeah. Yeah. But Brockton.
I thought it was cool.
It's all right. It's all right. You don't want to be walking alone in Brockton.
I didn't go anywhere alone. I had Andrew and Arlette, who was another woman rapper. So she's up there in, I guess, Southeastern. My bad, not Brockton.
That's awesome.
But I definitely thought that there would be more Irish in Massachusetts. I expected more Irish and less Portuguese.
Less Portuguese. Hey,
there's I'm sorry. There were way more Portuguese. I didn't even know that Portuguese circled around Boston.
They immigrated here. Boston is probably the biggest hub of Portuguese immigrants in the United States.
Yeah, I figured that out later, but it was crazy to see so many Portuguese. Oh my goodness, your food. Oh, I could eat Portuguese food every day of my life.
So where did you go out to eat? Did you go to like Cambridge or anything like that?
We went to Cambridge a couple of times. I've been to Rhode Island, Newport, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
We went to, Town Spa Pizza.
Okay.
It was so good. Oh my goodness. I would eat there every day if I could.
That's amazing. What did you have for food at the Portuguese restaurant? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember because I had my friends order for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know what any of this is. So someone ordered for me, but I remember it was like the sausage stuff with potatoes and it was just so good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. There's a place in Rhode Island. I believe it's in Rhode Island. My future father-in-law goes there a lot. Like my fiance's parents and my parents are best of friends. They've known each other for probably better half of almost 40 years. And they usually go once a month down. I think it's Rhode Island. There's a restaurant called Cinderella. He brings it up so many. It's like every time I have dinner there, he always brings it up. It's just an amazing Portuguese restaurant that just makes the best like kind of meat and potatoes. It just falls off the bone. And it's funny. They put like this egg around at the top, like a just a cooked egg at the top of the meat with the potatoes and the sauce. Oh my God. I haven't had dinner yet, so my stomach's like growling right now. But he brings it up a lot. And yeah, it is definitely what people would think is a lot more Irish in the Boston area, but there are so many Portuguese immigrants in here, right? There it's Cambridge, Peabody, Rhode Island, all these areas. It's just amazing.
Yes, it is. And there's also a bunch of Cape Verdeans. That's what Arlette is.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know Cape Verdeans were a thing. So learning about them while being there, it really opened my eyes. And seeing like the different cultures and the different parts of the country. But at the end of the day, we're all installers too. So it was super cool to be able to work there with her.
Oh, that's awesome. So would you just come up here for like a week and just help her out? Or were you visiting?
I was visiting initially, and then I came back for work, and then I went back for work, and then I went back for their wedding last November. They've been married for a year now.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So congratulations on your engagement. When's your wedding?
Next October.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been amazing. I've had It's my second marriage, unfortunately.
But you're
So
last, and that's all you need.
that's it. It's my second and it's my last one. And I've got two beautiful daughters, that are,
Aw.
12 and gonna be 7 here in a few weeks.
Aw.
Yeah, they're amazing. They definitely keep me on my toes. So I get them every weekend.
Very cool.
It's nice. I like that they get along with my fiance and things are really, really good. And, you know, the first thing they ask when I pick them up, oh, what are we doing with Karina this weekend? They don't even care about me anymore. They just want to hang out with my fiance all the time. So it's nice that they
Aw.
have that bond, which is good. And it makes things easier too.
Oh, yay. So whenever I was getting into rapping, I actually had the opportunity to travel quite a bit, and I saw 28 states in 6 months. But it was mainly driving. So whenever you do get the opportunity, visit everything you can. Take your fiance, take your daughters, and just show them the country, because the country around you is just, it's crazy how different everything is from state to state sometimes.
That's amazing. 28 states in 6 months, you said?
Yes.
God, what did you just say, hey, fuck everything. I need a break. I'm just going to go travel. Is that what happened?
Pretty much. I had gone through a really bad breakup and I was like, screw it. I'm going to travel. So whenever I started traveling, everything went really well. And I went to San Diego. I went to Washington, D.C. I went to Florida. I just went all over the place, and as much as I could.
That's amazing. Now, did you have like family or friends in these states that you would just kind of crash with for a few days and then move on to the next state? Or was this on that like hotel in once in a while?
No, I always stayed with somebody that I knew. So whenever I drove to San Diego, I was driving with my brother. So we drove out there and stayed at his place, obviously. We drove to Yosemite, which is still in California, but it was still a lot of fun. We drove through Big Sur, which is, oh my goodness, you have to do it in your lifetime. You got to get over this road sickness.
As long as I'm driving, I'm good, but I just don't know how far I can get.
Yeah, you're about to do a whole lot of driving. But traveling around really opened my eyes to everything that I could do. And it really inspired me to push the rapping thing. Mm-hmm. It really did, because everywhere I went, I saw a rap and I was like, oh, I could change it and make it look like this and make it look like that. And it just, that part of my life was the turning point for everything.
That's cool. Cause not a lot of us have the time nor even think about, you know what, I'm just going to take a break and do me for a little while and travel and do something for myself. Because, you know how it is. You get into a business, you've got a baby to feed every day. You've got to make money. You kind of have to be there. You have to be the face of it. And once you build that, it's hard to walk away from that for a week, couple days, whatever the case may be,
Absolutely. Time is always money. And whenever I started my company, I was such a homebody. I would go to work and I'd go home, mm-hmm. and I'd go to work and I'd go home and go to work and come home some more and go to work and maybe not come home.
lot more of those than coming home for me, for sure.
Definitely. But you just gotta bury yourself into it. And people always say you're married to your work. Like, that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. That is a great thing. If you love what you do, you might as well do it.
Yep. Yeah. 100%. But I think when you say that you're married to your work, it's definitely a good thing. But I think you should still take time for yourself and allocate that time for yourself. I'm always talking about, like, doing things for yourself and being motivated to work, but also live. Well, how's that saying go? You work to live and live. You don't live to work, type of thing.
Yes.
So, hence the reason why I got divorced, unfortunately, mm-hmm. was because I was married more to my work than I was at home. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I was providing, and I thought that was the right thing to do. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, I paid that, I paid that sacrifice to do what I love to do for God, I don't know, 12 years of my life. It's kind of all I knew to provide. And, unfortunately, just timing or, it's a lot easier when you have somebody on your side that's a little bit more supportive and understands what you're dealing with. That's why I love Jen and Steve. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness. They are so adorable.
They are just so fun to watch. They've got such a great thing going. I love, like, even recently I had April and oh my God, April and fuck, it's like escaping me right now. And I just had them on. No, God. See, I have so many people on the show that I tend to forget everybody. And it was like only like 2 weeks ago. It's going to drive me.
You're getting old. You're losing your mind.
Don't even talk about age right now. My God. My God. And you are so young as well, by the way.
Thank you. I am 26 years old.
26.
So I've been doing this since I was 20. I've owned my own company since I was 20, and I've been installing since I was 18, almost 19.
Wow. Yeah. And it was Mike and April, by the way.
Mike and April.
From Surf City. They've got an amazing thing going too.
Amazing. Yeah, and Jess and Mike out in Arizona, they are incredible to watch. They're incredible to work with. Their communication between those two is just, I love it so much. And Andrew and Arlette, they're in Southeaston, not Brockton, my bad. They're super adorable. They actually have a French bulldog named Avery.
Oh my God. I love French bulldogs.
And they named her after a vinyl manufacturer. It's so cute.
Right?
Like, that is rap couple goals for sure.
That's awesome. I'm so envious when I see power couples, not just couples, but just power couples doing it and doing it right and being so successful at what they do. And it just makes life a lot easier when you have that significant other by your side to go through all these types of little journeys and kind of hiccups and things like that in your life,
Yeah, for sure. And whenever I was dating younger age, I say younger, just a few years ago, I struggled to find somebody who would let me love what I do and support me in what I do, because of, I work with men every day and they get jealous of this or that. And whenever I come home late, they're like, oh, well, you never made time for me today. I'm sorry. I work with my hands and my cell phone is not my priority. So it's always good to see someone who has support, and especially a very good support system to go with it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And you kind of nailed it in the head with the whole dealing with men. I used to have a lot of women clients come to the shop a lot, and it'd always be like a topic of conversation of, which girl came by your shop today, or who stopped in at your place today that you weren't home on time for. It's just extra stress you fucking don't need in your life. You know what I mean? As if running a business is not stressful enough to have to deal with more at the end of the day. Yeah, it just doesn't. It's like, fuck, I should have just stayed at work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I do keep a couch at my shop for a reason, and this is why.
That's awesome. I bought a futon just for those late nights. Unfortunately,
Absolutely.
But it is what it is. You're a product of your environment, so you put yourself in front of these types of people, and eventually you'll find somebody that will support you and love you for who you are and not have that jealousy. And you're still so young. Fuck, I got 10 years. I got fucking 10 years on you. Jesus Christ. I feel like an old man. My
Oh, don't
God.
feel old. You're young and youthful.
Yeah, I guess. Thanks for the compliment.
You're welcome.
I'll take it.
But yeah, being young in this industry, I have my advantages, I have my disadvantages. My disadvantages, I mean, the IRS one fucked me really hard. The advantage is I can fuck them really hard now.
Yep. You learned earlier in life than later how to manipulate those types of things, which is good, which is real good. So you've been doing it 6 years now, you said?
I've been installing for 7 and I've had my own business for 5. Well, almost 6. Wow. I'm getting old.
Oh,
quit reminding me.
That's awesome. So let's talk about your shop a little bit. Like, what type of layout? Do you have like an open concept? Do you have like an office?
It's pretty open. So in the front, I have like the small waiting room thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
I have a TV. I don't have Wi-Fi at my shop right now because I just don't feel the need to have it. But I have a TV up there. Usually I have an Xbox hooked up or something so that my waiting clients can play Forza or do whatever they want to do. Watch Netflix, watch Hulu. And then in the back, I have a very open shop and it's just one large bay that about 4 cars can fit in and my material table. I have a detailing rack, which has 4 laundry baskets on it, 2 like mini wire baskets, and then I hang all of my cleaning bottles, my alcohol, my gel, my soap and water for any installation that I've got going on. And then my 4 laundry baskets, which I love to death. I've got a clean for automotive paint, and then I have a clean for dirty jobs like cleaning up oil or, oh my goodness, why is this fender so dirty? Client brought it in really dirty. Cleaning out those roof rails, the undersides of bumpers, stuff like that. And then I have a clean glass towel bin, and then I have a dirty microfiber. Everything goes in it, goes home and gets washed at some point being the key word there. And then I made a material table with the influence of my father, which is 6 4x4s. And it's pressure treated, so it's really sturdy. It's on wheels, so you can move it around. I mean, it literally takes up the same size as a car. It's 8 feet long, and then it's 64 inches wide, and you can put a roll on each end of it. So I usually keep gloss or satin black on one end. And then the other end, I'll keep the roll of the car that I'm wrapping at the time. Mm-hmm. And then I have the little peel and stick tiles on top of the table so that I can see that they're, hey, every foot here. So I need 3 feet for this door. Let's just pull out 3 feet, trim it off. I always keep snitties and measuring tapes on my table also. And then underneath my table, I have all my excess vinyl on rolls, which is getting a little overwhelming, as we all know. It just adds up really fast sometimes.
Oh, for sure. Any thoughts?
And especially those.
Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Especially the boxes and the cores, because you're like, oh, I might need this.
Yes.
No, you do not need that box. Throw that damn box away.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is the boxes and the cores, what to do with them, because you always find a use for the cores, at least I find. The boxes, they usually don't last very long. But I'll tell you, like, the auto skins wall racks and like stuff,
those are really cool.
Oh my God, I couldn't tell you, like, to get shit off the floor and up on a rack.
Oh yeah.
It just makes everything so much neater, and you know, you really don't even have to take it off. You can cut it from the rack, you know. If it's at the top, you can just pull as much as you need out. You know what I mean? Cut it off the rack. It's so efficient, and it makes it look so much neater. I mean, they're not that expensive for the amount of rolls you can store, but you know, I think it's definitely worth the investment.
Yeah. So my only issue with that is I'm a clean freak. So you can never keep your floor perfectly clean. But with my table, I use like a tack cloth to clean it off. And then I roll it out, backing up so that the backing is never exposed to anything dirty until you get it to the car. and then you put it against the car, you can peel the backing off, and it really reduces your level of contaminants in the wrap.
I always liked to roll my prints when they came off the printer with the graphics inward. I'd always get super, like, I don't know, OCD or whatever one of those were. Like, I always thought like something was gonna get on the print, fuck it up, and then when I go to laminate it, I'm gonna fucking see it. Like, it used to drive me crazy.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good idea.
And especially with the Royal Sovereign, you know, you can hold the core like in front of the clear kind of cage on the laminate. So you're only exposing maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 2 inches before it actually hits the rollers where the laminate was when you're laminating it. I would never put it on the roll, like the roll to roll setting, and I always do it by hand. Always did it by hand.
Ah, you're just anal. It's okay.
That's fine. You know what I mean? It's my OCD or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean? Just not getting it dirty or exposed to like any type of dust or hair. I got a beard, so fuck. I could be sitting here now and I probably got like 2 or 3 on me. They just fall off my face. It's better off my face than my head. That's what I tell people, you know. But, you know, being someone at the laminator, you know, you always get that weird, like, look, like, you've got way too much hair, dude. Like, you're probably not. You should be on the other end. Getting it to trim it off, not putting it in the laminator just in case, you know?
Yeah. That was another funny thing about the SEMA women's demo that we did. I looked around at one point. I was like, none of us wrap with our fucking hair down. Yeah. None of us. We are living a lie right now. I even talked to Jen about it. She's like, yeah, usually my hair is up. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really like wearing my hair up in public. So we're just going to live the lie today. We all wrap with our hair down.
Hey, whatever it is, you know what I mean? As long as the sticky side doesn't touch it, you'll be fine. Right?
Oh, I mean, you think that way, but I mean, you have a fiance. You've had her hair in questionable places on your body.
You have no idea. I pull it out of my sleeve sometimes. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's like literally like pulling a string, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is her hair, and it's like 2 feet long.
Where did this
I'm
come
like,
from?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's insane. It's insane. It drives me nuts. But yeah, I totally get it. Totally
plus the static of the vinyl, even if we're wearing one of our own hairs, man, it's going to get on there. It never fails. Never fails.
Oh, you know what I saw the other day? Somebody posted something and I started dying laughing because I know it happened to me a very long time ago. Someone wrote down, never pull backing paper off with headphones on.
Nope.
Oh my God. The sting you would get inside of your ears from pulling the backer off. I remember I did that once and I was like, holy shit. I thought I was going deaf. I'm like, there's no way. Oh my goodness. And I saw somebody post it. I'm like, yeah, you know, somebody just learned their lesson for the first time.
We all have to learn it, just like taxes. You got to learn not to do that.
Right. 100%. I started dying.
I'm not huge on wearing headphones whenever I install, but man, you bet your ass. If you walk into my shop at any point in time, I will be listening to music very loudly if I'm not expecting you. Yeah, I've had customers walk all the way into my shop and right behind me. I'm just jamming out to the most ratchet music. And they tap me on the shoulder. I turn around. I'm like, I work with a knife. Why would you touch me?
That's awesome. Now, what type of music are you blaring at your shop?
Oh God. Some ratchet stuff. Okay. Honestly, you can probably walk into my shop. If you walk into my shop 7 days in a row, you will hear Hamilton, the musical, playing at least once.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I really like Hamilton. You will also probably hear some Disney music playing at least once in that week. I listen to heavy metal sometimes, so like some Rage Against the Machine. Then I kind of get into the dubstep electric music, and I listen to like Cascade or Chainsmokers, a little bit of Skrillex, I guess, Marshmello. Then I get into the rap, and any sort of rap for rappers. I literally have a playlist on Spotify called Rap for Rappers. And
I'll have to look you up on Spotify now and get that playlist.
It is just ratchet rap, like not necessarily mumble rap, but it's like, I got hoes, you got hoes, let's all get some hoes. It's so bad.
You would think you're walking into some dude's fucking shop, and then there you are there, just, squeegeeing, all quiet. You pop up from the car, you're like, hey, how are you? How can I help you today? Let me just put my music down for a second.
Yeah. Luckily I wear an Apple Watch, so I can just look at my watch real quick and scroll the sound all the way down. But there have definitely been times where I'm like, oh fuck, I have a customer in my shop and this is playing. Oops.
That's awesome. Now, do you play this list or this kind of variety of music throughout your day? Do you take it in different stages? Like, you walk in the morning, you're like, I'm playing Hamilton this morning just to get me through till lunch. And then it's like, you progress in the heavy metal, and then like 5 o'clock, yes, you're fucking listening to rave music till fucking middle of the night.
Usually my rave music is later in the day just because it keeps me going, and Hamilton's usually around lunchtime, but I definitely start my day off with some ratchet rap.
Wow. Just straight coming off the gate.
Coming out of the gate, just coming in hot, like, I'm going to listen to some really bad music with some really bad words.
Because a lot of your clients won't come in first thing in the morning. They might come in after lunch, after 5. Yeah. You can get away with that type of shit.
Oh yeah. So one of my clients did come in, and I was like, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. I didn't expect him for another hour to pick up his car. His car was done sitting out front. And he came in early. I was like, oh shit, fuck. Okay, music down, like running across the shop, trying to unplug the Bluetooth speaker just to get it off. And he's like, no, it's fine. It's totally fine. And then I got in his car to like pull it out back for him to take a picture. And he was playing some like really bad rap music.
There you go. Like, okay. So he's seek in the closet type of guy, just likes it a little bit loud in his car where nobody else can hear it.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. It must be like a rapper type of thing, because it's like every time I like watch like James Tate, he's always got like real like loud music playing in the background when he does his live videos. Kevin, same thing when he's got his live videos going, and it's just, I totally see it. It's kind of like your domain. And do you feel like when you listen to the music and you're rapping, do you feel like you get into like a zen?
Oh, absolutely. And then sometimes whenever I'm like driving around, or I'm driving my 8-hour road trips, which are nothing to me, I'll come across a song and I'll be like, yeah, I remember that time I was rapping this. I was struggling really hard. And then the result, it just came out perfect. And I was stressed and I was worried about it, but then everything turned out fine. And it really makes me feel good to rehear some of that music that really puts me in the mood and helps me. And then it's just, everything's fine after that,
That's freaking awesome. Now, you work alone, right? You're solo.
I am
shop.
solo.
How do you deal with that? Being alone most of the days, and kind of.
What are you talking about? I love it.
Music, other than blaring your rap music every day, No
one's around to judge my Hamilton or my Disney music, so I love it. No, some days I do miss having employees. I really like for my friends to come to hang out at the shop, and they like to come and watch me work. So whenever I do have people around, it's fun to like talk to them and make memories of what we're doing, not just, oh, hey, I'm just rapping by myself here. Yeah. And then once again, like, they'll play their music and it'll put me in a good mood and we'll create our own memories.
I think that was one of the things that I miss, having, was my shop and having my loud music blaring. Everybody else would go home and I would have a couple hours of myself to finish up a job or even just start a job that night to finish up the next morning, and just being alone and having the music blaring. Like I said, it would be like a zen for me. I would put Pearl Jam on, big Nirvana fan. Shit, I don't even know who else. Just a lot of like alternative rock is what I listened to back then. I'm an 80s baby, so a lot of like the 80s, 90s rock. It was basically what played at my shop, and that would put me in a spot where, you know, you would start at maybe 6 and just listen to a whole album, and it would be like midnight, and 6 hours goes by so quick. It's like,
yeah.
It makes the time go by a lot faster than you think, you know?
It really does. I actually was listening to Blink-182 one day, and all of a sudden I had listened to all of their albums, and I had wrapped most of a car, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that was today.
That would be the playlist I'd be playing for the rest of the week.
Yep, absolutely. But there's always music that, like, I like to listen to Hamilton. I'll listen to Chicago some days. Just depends on what mood I'm in, and depends on what kind of car I'm wrapping. Like, I'm not going to listen to Hamilton while I'm wrapping a Lamborghini. I'm going to listen to some purple Lamborghini while I'm wrapping a Lamborghini.
That's awesome. Yeah, you definitely have to pick your tone and your music based on the type of project you're working on.
Absolutely. And man, I don't know what it is about wrapping BMWs, but I just have to listen to techno music. It's just always techno music whenever it comes to BMWs.
Really? What's the correlation there?
I have absolutely no idea. I don't know if it's because of one of the guys that I was doing it for, he was playing it in his car, or what it was, but whatever he was playing, I Shazammed it and hit Spotify radio, and I just listened to that while I wrapped his car. And since then, it's pretty much been the same.
Anytime you get a BMW, just like, yeah, techno it is. Yep. It's an easy choice.
And then I secretly hate myself for, wrapping another BMW. I'm just kidding.
They are not easy. They are not easy. Those front bumpers suck. The long hoods suck.
Oh,
It's
and
kind
then
of
the trunks.
Yes. What the fuck? Listen, I come from the commercial game, and I have way more lines you deal with, but I totally understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, for sure.
Not to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. The commercial game is just, I love it, I guess, but it's not the satisfaction that I get from it. Just the commercial wrapping, just doesn't give me the satisfaction that the color change does. Being able to give a client, hey, I hate my white car, and I give them this bright blue, sparkly, shiny, brand new looking thing. They're like, oh yeah, I love my car. And just the commercial wraps didn't do it for me.
Have you done a lot of commercial stuff, like in between, or just like totally not into it?
I've done a lot of commercial stuff in between. I did this company called CESG in Dallas. They bought a whole bunch of new long wheelbase Dodge Ram vans, the really big ones with the extended ceiling as well. I love to hate those things. They're terrible, but they're not that bad once you get into it, at least. But it was definitely interesting to do those as like a color change commercial. Oh,
so you were just changing the color from white to something else that they wanted?
Yes, I did. So it was a white Dodge Ram van, and I made it almost like a Dr. Pepper color.
I like Dr. Pepper.
I love Dr. Pepper. I'm from the South.
So it's like that brown kind of chocolate color?
Yes, kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So, putting it in those channels, what was your technique?
So I actually got taught this whenever we were in St. Louis, to leave a gap, and I leave about a squeegee length gap, and I would roll it in or use my finger to heat it up, make sure that it's all mushy looking, whenever it gets all loose. And, I would just push it in or roll it in with something. And it always usually stays.
Always usually stays. Ooh.
I mean, you gotta post heat it. I've seen quite a few people use the same technique and it doesn't stay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's always a gamble when I talk about sprinters with different guests. I'm a cut it and drop it type of guy. You know what I mean?
Really?
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%.
Is that acceptable?
100% for commercial. 100%. Drop it.
Oh.
Leave that reveal of white. If it's like a Mercedes Sprinter, you got that kind of like 1/2 inch, 5/8 gap of white in there. As long as you cut it good, you're fine. I mean, if you're cutting the thing jagged, then you're gonna have to do an overlay of a solid color. Usually, we'll do like black in there to kind of break it up so your eye doesn't really catch the white as much. And it really depends on the design, the wrap color, what's there. Is it contrasting? Is it really like noticeable? We'll throw a strip of white in there to kind of just break it up. But, cutting that and breaking up the section, the top and bottom, and not having it tent over or squeegeed up into it or primered, God forbid. I don't even like to say that P word. But primered in there. It's just, I've seen so many. And then this is just me. That's the first thing I look at when I look at a car on the highway parked. When it's a Sprinter, I go straight to those pieces. I'm like, where is it bubbling? Where is it peeling back? And it's 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 vehicles in this area, my Boston area, it happens. And, it's a shame. It sucks. And I know it probably has to do something with not post heating it to the right temperature. So it loses the memory. It's just, they just heat it in and they think it's good. And they think that's acceptable. And that's the shitty part. Like, some of these people have not done training or, been to a class to know right from wrong or to know what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. And, ever since I've been rapping, at least the Sprinters, the new Ford Transits, the Dodge Rams, the Dodge Sprinters, anything that has that type of channel, I'm always cutting it, leaving, cut it and just drop it in and call it a day. Because you know what? It's peace of mind. It won't come back,
Yeah, for sure. I got really good at post heating again and maybe one more time before it's all over. I couldn't imagine cutting it and laying it in. That
maybe not for a color change.
Baffling.
Yeah, maybe not for a color change. I would definitely attempt it, especially if you're trying to get that paint look. For sure, I would attempt it. Yeah. But when it comes to commercial, cut that sucker right out, all the way.
For sure. It was just.
It was what? Go ahead. I'm sorry. It
was really interesting to learn how to actually color change commercial wrap something. But I still lean towards my color changes.
Yeah. I mean, you've got a pretty good clientele now where the restyling, the color change, market for you in your area is works really, really well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It has not hit so much up in the Boston area. It's a lot more kind of commercial industry up here because there's just so many businesses. There aren't that many kind of vehicle restyling places around that are just doing color changes. There's one in up here that I know of, and I'm totally forgetting the name. Oh, I don't want to say Boston Wraps, but they did. It's actually another. It's a guy and a girl, but I don't know if they're together. Mass Wraps. Thank you. Yes. See, and I'm fucking from here, and I don't even know. God damn it! Fuck. This is my old age hitting me. I'm getting fucking dementia. Jesus Christ. But yeah, you're totally right. Mass wrap. What are you doing? Are you looking it up for me in the background?
No, I just
Cheater?
kind of try and keep tabs as much as possible.
Oh my God. I was close. I had Boston wraps. It's fucking wasn't the city. It was a state. Fucking
Yep.
Jesus. But yeah, you're totally right. It is mass wraps. And I don't know if they're together or not, but I follow the both of them, and, they do phenomenal work. I see a lot of stuff that they do, and they keep themselves busy with that. And just for me, every day, I don't think I could do color change every day. I don't think I'd be happy doing color change every day.
That's so satisfying, though, especially whenever a customer comes by and they're like, "Oh, I love it so much." Or if it's a husband and a wife and they like collaborate to get it done and they love it, it's just like, oh, yes, this is what I want.
Yeah, I think I get the same feeling with the commercial stuff. Just
really?
a little, yeah, absolutely.
I need you to teach me how to feel that way.
I get it. You know, when you work on like a cool commercial project, like I did one for a company called Army Barracks, and they had bought one of the largest sprinters I've ever wrapped in my life. It was the extended Mercedes wheelbase, the tallest one they had, and they wanted me to make it look like a tank. So, I did the whole kind of like, background with the rivets and the green and the logo with kind of like a helicopter dropping soldiers down as like a background. It was just so cool when you're working on a project for, a couple days, couple weeks, and you get like something satisfying like that. And then to have them come and pick it up. Seeing it on a computer as a rendering is one thing, but actually seeing the thing like in life is like a whole nother realm. Like you just cannot, that feeling that you get when you're done and you feel satisfied that you accomplished it, and to get to share that with the client and to have them be just like, oh my God, this is amazing. I think I look at it like, this is going to benefit them and propel them as a business owner to create more awareness for their brand, as opposed to, you being the restyling person, you're creating something for them. It's stylish for them. It's a reflection of them. I kind of get the opposite feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. It's fulfilling. I get kind of like a high out of it, seeing the process, I think, as opposed to, you go through the process of, okay, do you want it overlamp? Do you want it to be sparkly? Do you want it to be matte? Do you want it to be satin? Whatever the case may be, where I go through kind of the selling the product to designing it to printing it and then putting it on, like the little steps. I think it's so satisfying when you get to see the process.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. What do you usually do with your clients? Do you promote or push them towards like a fresh look if they come at you with, oh, hey, we've done this the same way for the last 6 years? Or do you usually just let them go about their older looks? Or do you try and rebrand them a little?
Not so much rebranding, but maybe creating more awareness of where the industry is going and where I could see them getting the best ROI out of it. If it's something where they come in with like an Ecoline van and they've always done print cut lettering, and let's just say it's like, I don't know, like, let's just say, for instance, I just did a Brazilian jiu-jitsu place, good client of mine. In the beginning, he just wanted lettering, promote, the Brazilian jiu-jitsu and his training and his academy. And, he got a little bit out of it. And then one day he's like, oh man, I heard about this wrap thing, do you want to design something, see what happens? Now he's probably wrapped 5 cars with me in the last, God, I don't know. He's wrapped a car like almost every year, give or take.
Oh, wow.
Always changing it up, because he wants to create awareness, and him changing it every year, to something new, something fresh, just kind of gives him more life as far as like his brand. And, he loves it. He loves when kids come up to the truck and take pictures with it, and like people will tag him in it. And you know, we just finished up a wrap recently, a couple weeks ago, and we did like he just bought that brand new Colorado. It's like
oh, yes.
It's that rally edition with the big wide fenders. It comes factory. Mm-hmm. It's such a beautiful vehicle, and we did a partial on it, and it came out amazing. We made it look like a rally truck, and it's got this cool red and like maroon graphics in the background with the logo, and he's got like this tiger head, a lion head on the back, and it's super cool. And you know, he's like, oh man, I want to bring it to this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu kind of training event this Saturday. And you know, I haven't talked to him since then, but I know for a fact he'll get a couple kids to join his academy because of it. And to me, my satisfaction is that he's able to do that, to create more revenue for his business, and he sees the value in that. And I feel like not pushing it on somebody is one thing, but then, you know, educating is another. I think, you know, when you don't come off salesperson-ish, but you come off as like, hey, you know, this can be an option if you didn't know, and this is the benefits you could get from doing it this way, you know.
Mm-hmm. I can understand that.
I always like going that route instead of jamming like information down people's throats. Oh, you need a full wrap. You can't do a partial. You won't get the same. I hate people that are like that. I just, whatever you can afford. I always ask, you know, what is going to be a budget for this project? Do you have a budget? You know, mm-hmm. It could range from $1,500 to $3,500. I mean, really depends on what you want to do. But I can guarantee you, you know, your return on investment, you know, tenfold easily.
Absolutely. Especially for something cool like that. Like, it's going to attract the kids. I'm not gonna lie, I've been attracted to wraps before, and it ended up being puppy dog adoptions, but that's a whole nother badness.
See, there you go. See, but it's, and, you know, I spoke to, Tim Hillcove, and, you know, the thing that he had mentioned was that when you create a wrap, it's creating a wrap around a feeling. You know what I mean? Like, how are people going to feel when they see it? And it's exactly what you just said. You see these puppy dogs on the car, or, you know, these shelters and things like that with wraps. And it's like, oh my God, I want to go rescue a dog. And it's based around a feeling. And there's a true way of creating that.
Yeah, absolutely. Another really cool project that I really like to do was, a friend of mine here in Oklahoma City, actually. He designed his car in like this Forza spy camo thing on Forza. Mm-hmm. And he just decided to go for it. And we balls to the wall wrapped his Camaro Z28 in this spy camo, which it was semi-commercial, I guess, because it was printed. The car was white, and it was white and black. But it was so much fun to see that car come to life from just the plain white car. I mean, nothing about a Z28 is plain, but you get the gist. But it was just so awesome to see it go from just this white blob to this amazing, like, black and white crazy design that it's got going on. And the looks that this car got was just amazing. Oh my goodness, I spotted a spy camo car, and it's just Rick's Z28.
Yeah.
That was a killer wrap to do. It just got so much attention, and it brought so much to wraps. Also, people kind of understood them a little bit better.
Oh, for sure. You know, and you can recreate that with, you know, color change as well. It's going to take a lot longer, but I'm sure you could recreate certain things like camos with different colors and knifeless tape and just tools that we have out there nowadays to help produce, you know, and actually save us time in wrapping. It's just amazing. What type of tools do you levitate tool, listen to me, to to the most when you're wrapping? I know we talked a little bit about those pro winged squeegees. What else do you kind of you have in your pouch? Do you carry a pouch with you, or do you do the fanny pack thing?
I don't do the fanny pack thing. That's a Vinyl Vixen thing, but I wear an armband, so I usually keep 1 or 2 flex streams, my specific blade, 3 squeegees, and then an air release pen on me. But in my pocket, I usually keep a snitty, a wrap glove or 2, a measuring tape sometimes, and then my knifeless tape I usually wear on my arm, like a wristband type of thing. Being a woman, we can wear them on our arms like accessories.
Hey guys, don't be gender specific. Guys can do it too, all right?
Oh yeah, it looks totally fabulous.
As we roll our eyes. Oh my God. Yeah.
I carry the speed wings. I carry the flex streams. The flex streams have definitely helped me a lot. Whenever I went to Vinyl Vixen shop and saw Michael using this mother tucker, I've really got to get one of those from Yellow Tools.
Yeah.
Yellow Tools also makes my armband, which, Joseph actually gave me. He owns Dallas Car Wraps in Dallas. He came to an APA training class that I hosted and I loved it. I was like, I hate this big bulky belt on my waist. And I would run into things, or if I got down on the ground, it would empty out, but, which is super annoying. And then he had this armband and he gave me one. I was just like, oh my goodness, my life has changed. And then my blades I use Excel blades, the blade itself, and an Olfa knife. The Excel blades, they fit in everything, I swear. Those plastic knives that you have to like break off the end one or whatever for it to fit.
Yeah.
You don't have that problem with the Excel blades. I don't really like the multi-click, like the 30-click knives.
Yes.
But whenever I'm tinting, I do use the red dots sometimes. But also whenever I'm tinting, I'm using a 45-degree blade instead of a 30. And then with paint protection film, I use different blades for that, and I have a different set of squeegees for that. So pretty much I have 3 tool belts, or I have an armband and 2 tool belts for paint protection film and tint. With tinting, it depends on if I'm doing commercial or window or automotive tint. But a lot of my tint tools have actually crossed over into wrapping, like the Lime Speedwing I use to shrink back windows. It's super convenient. It goes really fast. It doesn't scratch the film. It glides instead of catching on it. And then paint protection film, I use a lot of like turbos from Fusion Tools, like the pink one. The pink one is my favorite by far. Bernice showed it to me and Jordan gave me one at SEMA and I was like, oh my goodness, I love this thing. And even with the rubber turbos, you can still put a buffer on them if you want to use them for wraps.
Yeah.
So if you're a paint protection film installer and you want to get into or a tint installer and you want to get into vinyl, you can use all of those same tools for wrapping. You just have to modify them a little. Obviously everyone uses knifeless tape. I kind of rediscovered some wrap cut at SEMA. I do like how it lays just a little bit easier than knifeless in some positions. And if you need just like a top of the commercial car or something line, it's way easier to make a straight line because the filament's not as, malleable, I guess. So I really like.
I've never used it, so I can't speak in behalf of it.
But yeah, the filament's a lot harder, I guess, than the knifeless tape. I also really love, the little bitty orange automotive tape. Jessica showed me that also. I was just using normal masking tape prior to that, but it's like this orange pinstriping tape. And I lay that down before I lay the knifeless, and it just helps out a lot because of course your knifeless is going to lose tackiness as many times as you have to pull it up to get something perfectly straight.
Right.
And instead of using knifeless to do that, you just use a little orange filament tape.
There you go. So what are you putting the knifeless on top of that?
You put it beside it, and then you pull up the tape. And she showed me that. I was like, oh my goodness, you are a genius.
So using it as a guide.
Yes, absolutely.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. God knows how many times you try to like, you make a custom design on a hood or something, and then you're like, is that a little bit off? Is it not a little? Because you really don't know, because it's like if the filament could be wrinkled in the corner, but is your wire in the inside in the middle of that? Because if it pops or moves, now you're stuck cutting it by hand at that point.
Absolutely. And nobody wants to do that. We're all spoiled asses with our knifeless tape.
Hell yeah. The fuck? I'd rather use another 6 feet of knifeless and redo it than fucking cut it by hand. Oh my God. No way.
Speaking of spoiled, I also use a snap-on heat gun with Fusion Tools Afterburn tape on it. Man, that stuff changed my life.
What is that?
I used to get...
Is that like the new thing that just came out?
Yes, you don't have it yet?
No,
you have to get some.
Oh my God. You know what? I'm very cautious on not burning myself, but thank you. Like, it's...
I mean, we all do it. We all all have heat gun tattoos. We've all touched our torch while grabbing it.
Yep.
You have to try it. You can put it on your torch. You can put it on your heat gun. You can put it on pretty much anything that gets hot. And it doesn't burn you. So whenever you're like scooting across the floor and your ankles are exposed because girls wear skinny jeans or shorts and yoga pants, what else? We brush our ankle bones against our heat guns all the time. You don't do that with this stuff. It's perfectly fine. Like, I can grab my heat gun while it is on and it not be hot.
I did that once by accident. Grabbed the wrong end.
I have a perfect circle burn scar on my right thigh from I was putting my heat gun down and it swung out and it hit me in the thigh, and I have a perfect circle there.
Oh my God. Branding.
Absolutely.
Just the scars we have to deal with, being rappers, unfortunately. Yeah. The cuts on your fingers and,
Oh, geez.
Just gotta have
the cuts.
Now, do you have a first aid kit hanging around at your shop?
Of course I have a first aid kit.
All right.
It doesn't have alcohol in it because we work with alcohol. It's got some Band-Aids and some duct tape.
There you go, some duct tape. That's awesome. Lots of gauze and lots of duct tape. You're good to go.
Nope. No gauze.
No gauze? Jesus.
Oh, I've definitely needed it. One time I was at my shop by myself and I was cutting some fishing line off of my wrenches that I used to debadge. And I was sitting in a rolly stool and my knife slipped and I stabbed it into my thigh. Right next to that artery that runs up the inside of your thigh there.
Oh, the one that can kill you, you mean?
Yes, that one. And my dumbass, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to reach down and pull it out.
How deep did it go?
Oh, probably like 2 inches into my leg.
No way.
I was totally using my knife improperly. I was like sawing against the wrench, and it slipped. I had a whole bunch of blade out too.
Oh.
And it slipped, went right into my leg. I ended up needing stitches, and I still have a scar from that. I will never do it again.
Oh my God. I wouldn't even fathom, and I probably would pass out.
Oh, I almost did. I definitely almost did. But what I did is I just grabbed an entire roll of paper towels and pushed it to my leg instead of just pulling off 3 or 4. I said, to hell with that, and I put the entire roll to my leg.
Oh my God.
Maybe I should get gauze.
Yeah, gauze is a good thing. I'm a very like a prepper type person, so I always got like gauze and duct tape and alcohol swabs, and plus my kid's like allergic to like everything, so I gotta be like EpiPen and like all this shit with me at all times just in case.
I carry an EpiPen with me because I am allergic to peanuts, and whenever I walk into someone's shop that I haven't worked with before, I'm like, I'm allergic to peanuts, and this is where my EpiPen is located in my tool bag.
Yeah. So if you see me in the corner and like not moving, just put it in my leg. You know?
They're like, how do I use it? You'll figure it out. I promise.
Yeah.
I'll be dying.
Yeah. Just pull the cap and stick it in my leg. That's it. It's all you have to know. Oh my God. That's crazy. Yeah. My little one's allergic to peanuts as well. And I go crazy, and I'm so bad sometimes because I'll totally forget. We'll order food and just be like, oh, I forgot to tell the waitress again. They got to remake the food. And that's such a shitty allergy to have because
we can't have Chick-fil-A.
You can't have Chick-fil-A. Anytime my daughter wants fries, I always ask, do you cook it with regular oil or peanut oil? Like, it's like I would never have known to even ask the question, nor that I would have cared whether it was in peanut oil. It tastes the same to me either way. But now, with her having this severe allergy, it's like an eye opener for everything. Like I even tried giving her that artificial peanut butter, the I forget what it's called. It's like some type of sunflower type of thing, and she hates it, But I mean, I don't want to. I would love it if she could like. Have you had it all your life or?
I only recognized it once I was like 10 or 11.
Okay.
But I don't feel like I was very exposed to peanuts either.
Yeah, it's probably got something to do with that, at a younger age or still in the womb type of thing. Because my oldest one, she's perfectly fine. No allergies, no nothing. And just my little one, she's got like everything. If you look at her wrong, she catches a cold. It's like her immune system is so not kind of developed fully.
Yeah.
Which sucks. It's lots of doctors visits and lots of steroids, and it's shitty, but I hope she grows out of it soon, just for her sake at least.
I have a shit immune system also, so being a business owner, I'm like, okay, I gotta get through just like 2 more days. I can take a day off. Oh, okay, just 2 more days, it'll be fine. Okay, 6 months later, I'm dying, so I need to go to the doctor now.
Yeah, so when you get sick, you probably get real sick.
Oh, yeah. There for a while, I got pneumonia every single year being a business owner, like in May.
Damn.
So, yeah. So right after I opened my business, about 6 months later, I started getting pneumonia. I was like, what the hell is going on? And then it happened the next May and the next May. And I had to call my clients and just tell them, hey, I'm sorry. I have pneumonia and I'm your only wrapper. So I'm sorry.
Wow. Now, what was the cause of it? Do you think it was stress?
Probably stress, malnutrition, eating a bunch of ramen, stuff like that.
Going back to that ramen.
Oh, yeah. We've all done it. We have all done it.
Yeah. Yeah. I would upgrade once in a while the mac and cheese,
Oh, yeah.
A little
mac
variety.
And cheese is always good. Put some tuna in your mac and cheese. It's always good.
Oh, hell yeah. There you go. Spicing it up.
A friend of mine recently taught me to put chili in my ramen. It's so good. You have to try it.
Chili in your ramen, huh?
Yeah, it's super good. Chili and put a little bit of cheese in it. Super good.
All right.
Yeah.
I see what you're cooking with now. We'll have to try it out. Somebody will
Uber Eats.
Uber Eats. That's
Uber
awesome.
Eats definitely changed my life as a rapper because I didn't have to go get my own food anymore.
Yeah, going to the grocery store or, ordering out, you can get some good food.
Yep.
Damn. I wish they had that when I was in business. Fuck, I maybe ate once a day, if that.
Yep.
And that is not healthy. And then snacks in between, lots of fucking Monsters and Red Bulls and fucking Snicker bars. Fuck, I don't even know how I'm still here. Like cholesterol and sugar is fucking through the roof.
I mean, you never hear about rappers dying. We all live to be forever.
Well, we hope. You know what I mean? We hope.
Yeah.
But
True.
Those are the ones that feed themselves throughout the day and actually take a lunch and, see a doctor.
What's a doctor?
Yeah.
We're self-employed. We don't have health insurance. What are you talking about?
That's a whole nother topic we can get into, It's just...
Unless we're married and our significant other has health insurance for us, we're not going to the doctor.
Yep. Minute clinics or urgent cares, those are our doctors when we need them.
Yep.
Oh,
urgent
God.
cares for sure.
Fuck. It's just crazy. I know your time's value. We're creeping up on 2 hours already. I can't even believe it.
Oh, wow.
Right? It goes quick.
It does. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry. We talked about some cool shit in this episode, and I'm sure all the listeners are going to appreciate all the little infos and tips that you gave out. So, I usually like to end the podcast asking my guest, see, it's getting so late for me. Fuck.
Old man.
See? Fuck. Dubbed the old man on episode fucking 68. God. I like to end on asking you, who's your biggest influence? Doesn't have to be rap related, or anything, but who in your life has inspired you to kind of be the type of person that you are and be able to do the things that you do?
Most recently, I got to go to Arizona and work with a woman named Bernice. She owns Pure Luxury. She does window tint. She does paint protection film. She does vinyl wraps. She does detailing and ceramic coating and everything. She has it completely made. She's got like 5 or 6 employees full time. And she showed me and told me to never be ashamed of where you came from. It's where you're going that's really going to matter the most. We all have our struggles. We all have something that we struggle with on a daily basis. And she's just showed me and told me that it will always be okay. It will always work itself out. So I really hold her words near and dear to me. Moving home from Dallas, Oklahoma City to take care of my family, it's been really tough on me mentally, emotionally, all of it. Everything but physically, really. But whenever I came home, I hit this really low part in my life, and talking to Bernice, she just brought me back up on top where I belong. And she just said, hold your head high. Like, there's nothing wrong with where you came from or the struggles that go on in your life. So she really sticks with me, and I can call her for anything, and I do call her for a lot of things. She's just a very strong woman that I can look up to. Prior to that, I just looked at, people like Steve Jobs. You start in your garage. Frank Fellers, you start in your garage. But look at what you can become, not where you are now. Don't ever worry about where you are now, because it's always going to work itself out.
Yeah. Only time will tell,
Lots of time for the old man.
Lots of time. Been there, done that. Been there, put my time in for quite a few years. So for sure, it does. Overnight success is never what it seems. You definitely got to put in the time and be patient with it,
Yeah. Patience is definitely a virtue that you have to practice in this industry. Especially rapping. I mean, if you don't have patience, you're never going to rap that far.
Oh, yeah. No. Half the time, I don't even know how I get through a rap. Because
People ask me.
Everything else, no patience. Rapping, I could have all the fucking time in the world for some reason.
I have no patience for the guy going too slow in the left lane, but I can sit there and rap door handles all day.
Yeah. Give me that project. I'm good. And a little bit of fucking techno music, and I'm fucking rocking out.
And I guess another really good influencer in my life is Jessica, Vinyl Vixen. She just has all these good and positive things in her life, and she shares them with people. People see her on YouTube, but she is so much more than just a YouTube star. She started from the bottom. She served her time working at another shop. She she's always so proud of who she is. She's never ashamed of it. No matter what anyone says, no matter what a comment says, she doesn't care. She wears herself proudly. And I just want to strive to be more like that. No more hiding who you are just because you're a woman in the industry or someone underestimates you. She told me to use that to my advantage. And that helps me a lot in my daily life. Just use it to your advantage. Use being a woman, use being underestimated. And it's helped me so much.
That's amazing. Yeah, she definitely she's definitely loud. You know what I mean? And
Yes, she is.
She stirs things up, which I admire, because, you know, to come out guns blazing in that form, it's unusual for a lot of us, and it's not a lot of us can take it all in. But I think, you know, she's got a place for it, and it works for her, and it's super inspirational because she doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? She's going to do her own thing, whether you like it or not, and she'll learn, she'll make mistakes, and she's okay with, you know, explaining things. You know what I mean? Saying, you know, I'm sure she takes her wrongs with her rights, and she'll just move on and make it better. You know what I mean? I met her when I went to RapsCon, and she is the same way that she is in person than what she is on YouTube or on social media. There's no on or off switch. And that's what I like about a lot of the people in the industry, is the way they portray themselves, at least most of them on social media, YouTube or whatnot. When you meet them in person, they are that same person, genuine, you know, themselves. They don't put like a clown suit on and saying, this is what I'm wearing today, and when you're not around, it's when I take it off. It's them inside and out, which is good. And at the end of the day, putting on a show for other people, that gets tiring. You know what I mean? It
definitely does.
You know, mentally, physically, emotionally, you know, when you got to put on that face for somebody, it's not worth it. I'm always talking about like mental health and just people being more, you know, healthy and do things for themselves. And I think that's one thing we have to separate, is that, you know, when you work your 10, 12-hour shifts, take a day off, do something for you, because you can't continuously keep on doing that. You're only going to burn the candle on both ends, and eventually it's going to, you know, it's going to blow out. And then what? You got nothing, you know?
That's another thing that this industry really needs to focus on. It's definitely mental health. Like, a lot of us do this alone. A lot of us make companies by ourselves, but you are never, ever alone. Right. If anyone ever needs to talk to somebody, you can message me. You can message anyone in this industry, and you can lean on everyone.
Yep. I agree. It's all it is a DM. Don't be afraid to send a DM to somebody you've never spoke to. I mean, God, I've never spoke to you ever. And here we are 2 hours into a conversation, and you know, it's been pretty fluent since we started. We really haven't hiccuped in any way, and it's been pretty good. But it you know, you get a lot out of someone when you can have these small conversations, whether it's a DM or even a phone convo. If you can, people can take the time out and, you know, help one another. That's what I like about the industry as well. Like you said, it's just everyone's so open now than they were before. Back when I was in the game earlier, like 2007, 8, 9, 10, maybe. A lot of people...
I was in high school.
Oh yeah, see what I mean? There you go. The old man is coming out. You know, a lot of people keep the secrets to themselves back then because it was still so new, so fresh. Nobody wanted to give out their secrets on how they were doing it and why they were doing it. And now it's just so more open, and I love that. People are like, yeah, I've done that rap. You know, take off that door handle this way because I broke the fucking clip last time doing it your way, and don't do it that way.
Strip the wiring harness.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Save yourself $300. Take my advice. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And I mean, I love that everyone's evolving and being more open, and I love talking about the mental health part, because we do tire ourselves out and there's no need for it. It's just because we're self-employed doesn't mean we're open 24/7. You put those hours on the door for a reason. Come in when those hours are due and leave when you've put those hours in, and have a life outside of your shop.
Absolutely. And don't forget to love your family also. The people who are there for you truly at the end of the day, don't forget to support them.
Right. I guess we can end on that note for sure.
Great.
Kinsey, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much. I like to end the podcast by letting everybody know where they can find you on social media or website to get more information about yourself and your business.
Absolutely. Feel free to add me on Facebook. My name is Kinsey Sharp, Kinsey Sharp. Follow me on Instagram. It's Kinsey Kryptonite. Sharp Raps OKC. All of those places have Facebooks, Instagrams. I don't really Twitter, but I guess I do have a Twitter. Feel free to shoot me a message if you guys ever have a question, or you just you're in town, you want to hang out, or if you're in Dallas and you need a good food recommendation, feel free to reach out and talk to me.
Kinsey, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come on the show and share your experiences and tips and tricks and everything. And I wish you well for the rest of 2018.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving and have a great New Year.
What's up, everybody? Hope you enjoyed this episode of the All Wrapped Up podcast. Hit that rank button and review. And to stay up to date with future podcasts, hit that subscribe button. Till next time, folks, that's a wrap.